I got a message from a lady yesterday who said she'd got into a huge argument with her husband. He was yelling at her and she said, "I want to get a divorce. You're always yelling. I can't take it anymore." He said, "You always say you want to get a divorce and it's so annoying." And she started yelling at him. And as I was crafting my message back to her, I thought there's probably a lot of people who could benefit from learning how to communicate better. There's probably a lot of people out there who do a lot of yelling, and that is not necessary. So I'm going to show you today how you can communicate without yelling at each other. Welcome back to the Goal Getter Life channel. I'm Cindy Canor, certified high performance coach and change agent with Synergy Coaching. In this video, we're going to talk about why people yell and what you can do instead to communicate better with each other. Especially in a close relationship or in a marriage, we tend to treat the people that are closest to us really poorly. And we treat them worse than we would treat other people, and it doesn't need to be that way. People holler and yell because they don't feel like the other person can actually hear them. And they often keep repeating the same thing over and over. And like the lady who messaged me, she said, he keeps saying the same things. And the reason he's saying the same things over and over, and he's saying them really loud, is because he feels like she doesn't hear him. And you might think, how can I not hear him? He's so loud and he's saying it the same thing over and over every time. But it's not that kind of hearing. It's an actual hearing as an understanding. So he feels that she doesn't understand him. And so he keeps saying the same thing over and over, louder and louder every time. And that's not going to change unless you actually consciously do something about it. If you can forget about the emotion in the situation and then realize that when you start yelling back at the other person, you are often yelling the same things that you've yelled many times before, and you're getting louder. It's because you feel that the other person isn't hearing you and isn't understanding you. If you can wrap your head around this concept, you'll realize that the solution is really not that complicated. I'm going to give you 3 easy steps to help you communicate more effectively with each other without yelling. Step number 1 is very basic. It is just to take some deep breaths. And I say this kind of thing all the time to people because whenever you're stressed out or whenever you're angry or you're feeling a lot of emotion, you tend to breathe really shallow. And that's because our ancestors, whenever there was anything threatening in their life, your body automatically is either going to fight or flee. And so you start breathing more shallow, your blood pressure goes up, and your body just wants to get the heck out of there or defend yourself. And unfortunately, nowadays, we don't live in such a dangerous environment, and our body still reacts the same way whenever we are under a lot of stress or whenever someone annoys us or we get in a fight with our spouse or with somebody close to us. So what you have to do is consciously decide to take some deep breaths. Your brain needs oxygen in order to think clearly and to be able to respond instead of react. So what you're going to do is just take some slow, deep breaths. And you'll have to do this consciously because your body is not automatically going to want to do that. Like I said, your body is going to get freaked out and you're going to breathe really shallow and quickly. So breathe in through your nose really slowly. And then you can breathe out through your mouth or your nose, whichever you like, really slowly. When you're in the heat of an argument and you first start doing this conscious breathing, it's going to seem really weird. But trust me, it's going to be so much better for you because, like I said, your brain is going to be able to be so much calmer than if you just let your body do its thing and get all stressed out and breathing quickly and shallow. And your blood pressure rising. If you do these slow, deep breaths, you'll be able to calm yourself down and you won't end up saying or doing something that you might later regret. After you've calmed yourself down a little bit with the deep breaths, And you can do as many as you need, and if you're just getting started at this, you'll need more. But eventually you might just need 3 really slow, deep breaths in order to get yourself more balanced and centered. And then you'll be ready for step number 2. Stephen Covey wrote The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People in 1989. And I have the old audio cassettes from way back then. I want to draw your attention to his habit number 5. Once you start incorporating this into your life, your communication skills and your relationships are going to blossom. Habit number 5 is seek first to understand and then to be understood. So that all ties into what we're talking about, because when somebody is yelling, it's because they don't feel heard and they don't feel understood. The habit of communication is one of the master skills in life, the key to building win-win relationships and the essence of professionalism. We see the world as we are, not as it is. Our perceptions come out of our experiences. As people from both sides interact, they sometimes question the credibility of those who see it differently. To resolve these differences and to restore credibility, one must exercise empathy, seeking first to understand the point of view of the other person. Now, I know you might be thinking, why should I seek first to understand him? He doesn't seem to care about understanding me. And the reason that you want to seek first to understand the other person is because you can't control them. You can only control yourself. Yes, it's your choice if you want to carry on yelling at each other or if you want to try something a little different. And trust me, this works because it's worked in my own relationship. So when you seek first to understand the other person, this is what you're going to do. You're going to purposely put all the rest of your other thoughts aside and just listen. And I know this is really hard for a lot of people these days because we have so much going on in our minds. We're so used to multitasking, we're so busy, we've got so many things to think about that when somebody who is close to us is talking, our mind is elsewhere. It's like all over the place. And that's why the other person is not feeling heard and getting louder and saying the same things over and over again. So just look them right in the eye, clear your mind, and listen. Just listen. You're going to listen to understand. Listen to understand the other person. You're not going to be listening and in the back of your mind thinking about how you're going to respond, or they say this all the time, or any of those thoughts. You're not going to think about what you got to do next, or when they can shut up so you can get out of there, or all the things on your to-do list. You need to actually focus on what this person is saying so that they feel understood for the first time probably ever in a long time. And it's so wonderful when somebody actually listens to you like that, and it's really rare. So if you can do that for somebody who is yelling and just say to them, you know what, actually I don't want to fight like this anymore. I don't like us yelling at each other. I want to understand you. Help me understand where this is coming from, what it is that's so deep inside you that's bothering you, which one of your values is being compromised, or whatever it is. Just really try to figure out what that person is feeling so deeply about that they don't feel that you understand. When you use Stephen Covey's habit number 5 and you seek first to understand, the other person won't have a need to keep yelling and keep repeating the same thing over and over again. Although you might find, even after you've done this, that yelling was a habit that's pretty established in your life already. So you might have to occasionally say to each other, you're getting a little bit loud. I can hear you, I'm here. We can talk in a normal voice with each other. You'll have to remind each other every now and then. And the final step to learning how to communicate better is simply to appreciate each other more. Psychologist William James said, the deepest principle of human nature is our craving to be appreciated. He didn't say we want to be appreciated or we'd like to be appreciated. It's a craving that the other person has, a craving that you have to be appreciated. And once again, like I said, you can't control the other person, you can only control yourself. So if you start just really deeply appreciating the other person, you won't believe how much your relationships will change. There you have it, 3 simple steps to communicating better without yelling at each other. First one, breathe, get some oxygen to your brain. The second one is seek first to understand the other person and then to be understood. And the third one is to show them how much you appreciate them. Thank you for your continued dedication to your own personal growth and mastery. For more everyday strategies on how to be your best and how to live an awesome life, subscribe to this channel. Comment, like, and share it with anyone you think might benefit. I'm Cindy Quiñones, certified high-performance coach and change agent with Synergy Coaching. Until next time, the best in me recognizes and honors the very best in you.